Hey everyone, this is the ZelCash live public meeting for November 4th. This is Parker. Miles is currently in transit, so I'll be taking over for this single broadcast. So Daniel and I will be walking through um, the ZelCash Swing Wallet and ZECmate Zcash wallet updates and releases. We'll be talking about the next network upgrade, which will include Overwinter and Sapling upgrades, the ZelNodes roadmap progress for Testnet. We'll show you individual items of what each module is getting built, things like that, to just be fully transparent on what's going on. New ZelCore release that was released a couple days ago. Got the an update for the websites and the partnerships that we've added recently. And Todayish has gotten ZelCash merged with Electrum X server. So anybody that is trying to fork the Electrum server that we had customized can just use the Electrum X server repo going forward. So with the ZelCore release, we added a bunch of stable coins. We got Paxos, USD Coin, Gemini, Dollar were all added. Sapling is now supported in both lightweight and full node mode. The back end of ZelCore was updated for binaries installations when doing full nodes. Some projects recently have upgraded their daemons, including Zcash, Hush, and Ravencoin, so those are fully integrated into ZelCore. And Shapeshift has been disabled right now because they are updating to KYC requiring logins. So we will update also so the users can use Shapeshift in the future, but you will need to log in and provide personal information to use Shapeshift going forward. And then just some cosmetic fixes and some of the bugs when using ZelCore as the GUI for one of the coin daemons. So that was all fixed in version 1.1.3. If you've noticed over the last about week or 10 days, we have updated the ZelCash Swing Wallet, and that has included some customizable UI fixes, multiple currency bases so that you can see your portfolio value in different currencies, up-to-date logos, icons, things like that. So ZelCash Swing Wallet was updated to be the most current version, and then ZECmate, which is the first full node Sapling enabled wallet for Zcash that also supports Windows, Mac, and Linux across the same platform. So those have both been released, and we'd like to thank Cabasina84, who put in a lot of work as a community contributor to the full node wallets. So I'll pass it off to Daniel to update everybody about the roadmap and ZelNode testnet.
Hey, Parker, can you hear me all right?
I can.
Okay, good. So I just want to start out by saying that we've worked really hard to make sure that we map this out as adequately as we could, understanding that as we're going through these different processes, especially around the nodes, that we want to make sure the community is very well aware with us hitting our deadlines as we're supposed to. So this is a very aggressive roadmap and a roadmap that we believe through really sitting down and evaluating it that we can absolutely meet. So if you want to go into the next slide then, Parker. Winter is coming. We are in the process now of with community involvement and the foundation working on our network upgrade. So essentially, we want to get Overwinter and Sapling integrated into our infrastructure prior to our node implementation. So one of our big focuses over the next several weeks to a month will be that Overwinter and Sapling integration. Can you advance, Parker? What does Overwinter and Sapling bring to us? The network upgrade will be very important for ZelCash. ZECmate now accepts the Sapling addresses, and essentially what we're looking to do with our chain is bring it up to compliance with the Zcash chain as well. essential to complete while the nodes are being completed. We want to get this taken care of now rather than later. And we also want to be able to reduce our transactional times by 90% and 97% memory reduction on those transactions as well. And it puts us in lockstep with the ZCash company privacy technology upgrades. So there are particular facets of that 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 we will accept and we will take that comes with Zcash, but I think we're in the process right now of discerning which ones those are. So we're not going to do a blanket upgrade, so to speak, to move from where Zcash is to where ZelCash will be, but rather be very selective with what we are doing in terms of what's going to work best on our infrastructure. Advance the slide, Parker. This is our new, and many community members are going to be excited to see this. This is our actual roadmap and our node testnet. So unless you're hiding under a rock somewhere, you've noticed there's quite a bit of flurry of activity going on in the GitHub, and this will kind of step us through what's going on right now. So our first target is going to be to support the Monero and other forks. That'll be in a November timeframe. Currently, we are set to take the Monero themselves, but we are also working on the bulletproof, I believe it's called, fork after that. So that'll be our focus here in November as well. ZelCash network upgrade, which is now codenamed Acadia. So that will add Overwinter and Sapling. We're going to target a November to December timeframe. Now, keep in mind, each one of these things are going to be happening concurrently, and we've brought on 3 new devs to the team as well to make sure that these are going to actually will meet our timelines. The first live testnet of the ZelNode infrastructure will be late November, early December. Our goal is to have the testnet up and running and functioning. Make sure we're ironing out any issues or problems that we find along the way. And also, it's imperative that we have the testnet in place as well for the Overwinter and Sapling upgrade as we move forward with that. The release of the new ZelCore UI, which is probably the first time anybody's hearing about this, but we actually have been working on a new and improved UI that will be released in December. Should clean things up fairly nicely. Project M, which we can't really tell you much about, but it's going to be way cool. That test will roll out and an announcement will be made in December and January. If you're really into GitHub, you can go in and you can try to inspect some things that are going on in there as well. Our LiveNet release of ZelNodes will be on the first anniversary of ZelCash, January the 31st. So our goal is to provide enough time that we can test and tune the nodes. So you got from now till January the 31st to continue mining and taking your position in Zel so that you can run your ZelNode. We want to go live, and we're going to explain that process here in a second, how that's going to happen. That's a very robust and quick time frame, and I think that we have a very good core group now that can make this happen. And then our open beta development of ZelX on the closed infrastructure. We are in alpha mode now. I would say we're almost out of alpha mode and into a quasi beta mode now. We're actually testing it. The application runs, and we're doing paper trades on it right now to start dialing it in. But the anticipation is to open that up to a beta test group sometime in the December-January timeframe. Please advance. So how are we going to do the nodes? Because that's the biggest question of the day. People want to know. So what we tried to do is put together a little bit of a breakdown of the phases that we're going to go through. And you can also note in the GitHub that we've had several contributors that are putting up exactly these pieces as well. So our phase 1 is we have designed and diagrammed the mapping, or what they call topology, of the ZelNodes. We're building our class designs, are mapping our workflow with images so that we understand what we're doing. Go back, Parker, you're advancing. There you go. We want to update our current black paper. We have a black paper that was developed that's for the team use only. As you all are aware, the node infrastructure will eventually be open source, but as we're developing it, we're going to keep that in a closed loop. We have set up a private GitHub repository. We are also creating our stories, our agile workflow to ensure that we are working together effectively to make sure that these different parts of the project are being met, and a working dev structure with assignments. So we now, as I alluded to earlier, we have an additional 2 to 3 devs that we've partnered with from the community or otherwise, and to continue to keep developing this, and also Trunk and Miles and Lumi and everyone else as well. So phase 2 would be the start of the basic node integration. So we'll launch our testnet. We'll build our ZelNode classes. We'll create our building manager classes. We'll build network messaging for ZelNode, so sync, ping, new, expire, sign messages, etc. And we will build the anti-DOS prevention into the network messaging. We'll also build the locked UXTO system, providing that you own ZelCash into a specific address. I can't really speak to that. Miles is going to have to probably explain that, but I know enough to be dangerous, and basically that's going to solve some of the issues that we've had with UTXO, and it'll also be able to allow your ZelCash to be held in a wallet and not necessarily on the physical server. So on to 3. So phase 3 is consensus. We want integration of the nodes for payouts into consensus. We want to create our Coinbase transactions, consensus checks, contextual checks, and transactional checks. So a lot of checks done in phase 3. Now, keep in mind this will all be running on testnet as we're developing it, so that the community can participate and also see this as it's being developed. Phase 4 will be to add the other tiers of nodes. So essentially, we're going to add one tier of node first. I'm not sure which tier that will be, but as we start to work out the details, we will then add in the additional tiers as well. Now, what that means is by the live date, we anticipate all classes of nodes to be brought online. So there's no worry about one particular class coming online before the rest of them. We won't launch off of the test net and onto the main net till we're satisfied with all of the transitional for all the node classes. Allowing for different UTXO amounts to be locked based on the node tiers. So basically, that means you're going to lock your ZelCash up per whatever your node is. No messaging, including the types that the ZelNodes should prevent spam attacks. So we obviously want to make sure that we structurally map this infrastructure and make sure it does exactly what we are anticipating on. We don't want to have multiple iterations of this. We want to have, at least when we go live, we should have a good release case. We shouldn't have to go back and revisit the technology infrastructure. And all validation happens on the nodes that have the UTXO set in memory. Now that's a lot to take in, and honestly, there's components of that that you can ask questions about, and other people can explain the technical aspects of it. But from a real topology, from an overview, the big bullet points. Parker, can you go back 2 slides, please? The big bullet points that you want to take out of this is that we are going to work on our network upgrade, which is over Sapling and Overwinter and Sapling, which is the Acadia upgrade. We will then release our first test net for the node infrastructure late November, December. We're also going to release our new ZelCore UI, Project M. Our live net for release will be the first anniversary of ZelCash on January the 31st. And then we are also doing an open beta on our ZelX on a closed infrastructure prior to the nodes being released, so that way, once the nodes are released, then we can then begin to develop ZelX and release ZelX on the node infrastructure. Okay, go forward 2 more. 1 more. And this is you.
Okay. Yeah, so we have listened to the community and also knew that we needed to update some of the websites and try to homogenize them all together, link them all together. So what Lumi has done is he created this drop-down bar that links all of the Zel ecosystem websites together to make it easier for especially new people to come and visit Zel.cash and hey, let's look at Zel ID, let's look at ZelCore, things like that. We're always working on updating and fixing spelling errors. The community's done a great job pointing some of those out. So that will be a ever evolving process on making sure spelling and grammar is as up to date as it could possibly be. You might have seen we updated our team to the current roster of who's on the team, and we've added a couple partners, which I'll talk about in a second. And in the future, one of the suggestions was to start linking more ZelCore information to the ZelCore website, especially for newcomers. So that would be things like ZEL ID, maybe some of the Medium posts, some of the how-to guides, so that people that are new to ZelCore can jump right in and start using the wallet and the platform efficiently. And then over the last few days, we've talked about some of the partnerships that we've created. One is I2 Trading, which is a liquidity partner for large-scale over-the-counter trades. So that is going to likely, well, it helps, but it'll help in the future too when larger and larger chunks of ZelCash want to get purchased by institutional investors. We were also accepted by Delta Direct. So if you use the Delta Portfolio Tracker program, any news, large updates, things like that from ZelCash and ZelCore will show up there in the Delta Direct. And CoinGecko, the coin and portfolio tracking website, has a similar program called Beam, and we have also been accepted there. So news will aggregate and spread out to Delta and CoinGecko.
Parker, can I just add one thing in there as well? If there's anybody in the community that wants to see us added to other platforms, please feel free to submit us. I know there's been some requests for Blockfolio and some of these other tracking applications. Please, as a community, you don't necessarily need to have any one of the core team participate in that. Go ahead and submit for it. If they're interested, they'll reach out to us and we'll add it in. So,
yeah, good point. So going on to the ZEL Foundation update, we're currently accepting nominations for board members. This will be an evolving process, as you saw how many things are on the to-do list and the roadmap, but we do want to get the foundation set up. We have been using the foundation itself to do some grants, which is including the ZelCash Swing Wallet update, which was awarded to Cabecina, and then another grant was given for someone to go through and efficiently edit the grammar and punctuation of some of the websites. That was a big help. So if you have any ideas on what you'd like to propose a grant, you can always send that new idea to the foundation section on Discord, and we'll continually build out the foundation for functionality and get the whole thing set up. So social outreach. This week we'll have an announcement from the marketing and PR side of things. We've been going a little, not slow, but steady with marketing and PR. And so we'll have an announcement in the next couple of days that I think will make the community happy. And we are still looking for full stack devs. C++ devs don't necessarily need blockchain experience. We've had a number of people reach out to Daniel and myself, which has been great. And so if you know anybody who might be interested and has some good programming skills, please have them reach out to myself or Daniel. So that covers this presentation and the live stream on YouTube. And as normal, we'll move over to Discord for the community Q&A. We'll do that for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. We'll see how it goes, and possibly have another one later this week with Miles involved, so we can start answering more technical questions on ZelNodes. So thanks, everyone. See you in Discord.
Thanks, everyone.